to happen again? I didn't think so.
Right?
I mean, my thing is this, and this is one of the main reasons why I lost my intrigue outside of like the initial thing, and that's the fact that you have Zaya go through this whole transformation of just being, not worth a damn at certain points to now being like some person who's supposed to be some intimidating force. And when she comes back, you basically just throw jobbers at her. And it's like, and that's strike one. Strike two is you actually let her have matches with these jobbers. Like it should be a one and done where you come in, hit a move real quick, and then that's
Game
it.
over.
Yeah. Now, if it wasn't for Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter coming out and actually building up on this story, they would have lost me completely at this point. But that's where my intrigue kind of came back into play because it's like Caden Carter had went to Tian Sha. Is that I don't know how to pronounce it.
I think it was how you say it.
She went to her and she's like, what are you doing to her? Why she's not, this is not her, it's not. And I was like, oh, okay. Well then, looks like we actually may have something now. And the way that Xia Li had reacted to her when she grabbed Boa, I was like, okay, all right. Now it's time to see what happens because with her going crazy and like kicking Catanzaro and then taking out Caden Carter was like, oh, okay, all right. Well, now we could probably start getting her some legit competition for the moment, and then have her build up. But I just don't like the jobber situation unless it was like going to be like a one and done where pop a finishing move or whatever, and then be out of there. But Scoot, they got you. So I mean, what's your intrigue on it?
One, of course, to figure out who Tian Sha is going to be revealed as. And two, I mean, if you look at NXT as a whole, they haven't did anything like that story related wise. Like, that's the first time they ever did something where, they kind of did it with Legado del Fantasma when Raul and Joaquin were kidnapped, but they didn't, show nothing else. In this case, they were showing what they were going through as they were away from NXT, which once again, there was never no Regal like, where the hell are they?
Yeah.
Like, am I going to ever see these people again? Like, but we keep getting video footage of them beating the shit out of each other. So obviously they're alive, but where? Like there was never no, hey, we need to call the police. 2 of my superstars are getting tortured, and they keep sending us video footage. But besides all of that, I digress. But yeah, I'm hooked. I just want to see what the payoff is. It a payoff? Could it lead to a title shot from Xia? Could it lead to a championship? Who knows? I mean, let's face it. Did we ever think at the time Tommaso Ciampa was going to win the title?
It's true.
Because he did randomly win it from Aleister Black on TV. So it could be a situation where Xia could be fighting insert name, and boom, it's like, oh shit, that just happened. So hey, we need to see where it leads to.
That's kind of bought me on that aspect of it, especially throwing Tommaso Ciampa into the mix and being like, okay, it's almost akin to his whole Blackheart days. So
Blackheart, Shotzi.
Not that Blackheart.
Oh, I don't care anymore. No, I'm kidding.
Although that was the next match, but there was some stuff in between that. There was some stuff in between that.
This was some hilarious shit. Like next segment was Johnny Gargano being wheeled out, in a wheelchair with a sling in his arm. And as he described, due to his vicious beating that he received by Kushida, he now had a broken arm and was unable to walk because of said broken arm.
Hilarity.
They carried his wheelchair into the ring for him and put him on the top rope. And then put him back into said wheelchair in the middle of the ring.
Now, with this shit, this is one of the main reasons why I say that the main roster needs to kind of take from NXT.
Yes.
Because with the main roster always rehashing shit, it feels rehashed and it feels stale. When you have situations like this where Johnny's being like a chicken shit heel and actually weaseling his way to get out of things, like that stuff that they did back in the day. And
thank you. I grew up with that. Like,
yeah, and he's making it fresh. So like when I see shit like that, I'm like, oh, I remember when such and such did this shit before too. And then now that you can tell that Johnny in himself is, outside of being a wrestler, is a huge wrestling fan. So, and he understands what comedic shit can get over and what is actually just cheesy. And he found a way to blend the cheesy with like the gold that is like the shit of the past and make it work. And this is one of those things where we all know Johnny can go in the fucking ring. Like that's very apparent. But now it's one of the situations where it's like, well, this is how you build Kushida up. It's like because I can tell you now, there's a lot of people that I see that don't know who Kushida is and don't care. So you have a lot of people that'll look at this situation and say, oh, well, I don't know if that guy's any good. I know Johnny Gargano. I may not like him, but I mean, clearly that's who's winning. And this was a way to build up Kushida as well. To say, okay, well, that's an imposing force. I don't know. Why is Johnny scared to fight him? Well, now you see why. It's fucking Kushida. But
I mean, in the visual of Regal coming out, and this is the one time where WWE's frantic camera work was pretty good. Because he'll go to Regal, go to the way, and then next thing you know, Kushida's just standing there like, and then he was like, look, you can either forfeit the title or you can have Austin Theory defend it for you. And then he was like, wait. Well, let's ask Kushida himself. And I was like, what do you mean ask Kushida? He's not here. He's just literally standing there like.
When he was like, Kushida-san, what do you think? I was like, why are you asking Kushida? Oh, shit, Kushida's in the ring.
Right there, like. And then even Theory turns to him like, yeah. Oh, like, shit, hey, man.
And it's that old comedic trope that just works so well. And that's why I like it, because it's like the way is winning me over even more. And it's mainly because of Johnny and Austin's like relationship. Because I mean, again, Austin went from being like, hey, I look good. This is, all day Austin Theory, to being like that traditional, like just like meathead that had like no brains at all. And and he plays it so well. And it's, of course, again, somebody who can actually go in the ring, but complete buffoon at certain points. And this was another thing that I liked because of the fact that you had. Oh wait, no, that was later on. I'm sorry, I'm meshing the fucking stories because I forgot that we had a match later on. So
like that was such a long like bit though that it really kind of like they had to remind me. Oh yeah, Candice LeRae's got a match like right now.
But that's what I like about Johnny, is that he's able to play off of Regal as well too, especially when they brought up the X-ray. And he was like, what is the he's like, it got broken in 4 places, and it's because the R stands for real.
Right. And it was like, fam, that's not even the correct arm that you're even showing.
Oh, and that again, man, you like, even if this wasn't for a fucking title, I'd still like be down with this whole situation.
Yeah.
again, titles on the line, and they are definitely building up the North American title picture, which I mean, we'll still get into that later on with the other match that had happened. But with this match, after this shit went down, you had Shotzi and Ember enter into the fray. Inbound on said tank with both Ember and Shotzi riding on the tank. Shotzi didn't shoot anybody this time, but you know,
I thought she was going to shoot Austin in his theories.
I think they had too many guns to bring into the ring, so they said fuck the cannon. But this match was good and at the same time, and that's mainly because the sore spot in this match was Indy. And I hate that because I want the way to look strong overall, but Indy is still either missing some points, or I mean, maybe it's just me, maybe it's the way I saw it, but I felt like there was nothing that said to me, yo, this is she deserves the nickname Indie Wrestling. And I felt like that may have hurt her a little bit, because it's us expecting a lot now of thinking about it, even with like the cliche of the nicknames. But yeah, she just seems out of place at certain points, and this also tells me why she wasn't inside the War Games match and just a component to it rather than being a competitor inside it, because she's just not ready yet. And maybe she's with the way to cover up her greenness in a sense. But yeah, I can
see that.
Yeah, it didn't do much for me, and I hate that, because I do like Indy. Like she has a good look, like especially with her height and everything. Like I feel like she can be something. It's just that she's not there yet. But y'all's thoughts on this match?
It was pretty solid. I mean, it was one of the things to where since Raquel and Dakota, hey Raquel, since they was already going to the finals, I mean, it kind of made sense that Ember and Shotzi were going to be their opposition. So,
well,
but other than that, it was pretty solid. I had no issues. I mean, Shotzi was looking good. I don't know if Jaeger is on yet, but I'm pretty sure he would probably have things to say about Miss Blackheart. But
no, you don't need to tell me that she looked good.
Yeah, right on time.
Well, of course.
Sorry, little visual.
Shotzi and Ember go over. I mean, that's no surprise. We pretty much called this whole tournament for the most part. And after that, they did the cliche, go up to the trophy, and your competitors are going to come right out. And sure enough, they did. Raquel and Dakota came out, and they basically set up that cliche image of who's going to win. This is your finals match. So, yeah, of course, everything stands. I still think Raquel and Dakota are going over. No surprise.
And they gonna win those tag titles, baby.
As they should.
And then get sent to the main roster. I mean, what?
No. I think, and what I think is going to happen is, I think what they're going to do is they're going to take those titles, and those titles are going to stay on NXT for a bit.
Yeah, Regal kind of dropped the hint there when he exclusively said, "Oh, by the way, the whole purpose of winning this thing, it will get you a shot at the WWE Women's Tag Team title."
No.
Yes.
And it needs to stay over there, because I think what's going to happen is they're going to basically build the women's tag division through NXT. And I think that's probably the best move, because you'll get the better matches, and obviously you'll get the more solid matches as far as on a tag team aspect. So fuck yeah, pull the trigger on that shit. Trips, get those belts. Get those belts and leave them on NXT for a little bit.
For a while. Let's do that.
Long ass while. Trying to see what else was next.
Austin Theory and Kushida's match. Yeah.
Okay, I was making sure there wasn't any segments in between that because so much shit going on. I'm like,
it was a lot.
But yeah, that match. This actually goes into exactly what I was talking about. With, I mean, this match clearly was a nothing match outside of the theatrics, and that's what I'm going to focus on because that's one of the main things that that happened was during this match with Kushida. You had another potential competitor for the North American Championship integrate himself into the fray, and that of course is Mr. Dexter Lumis. And just the way that Lumis looked at Kushida when Kushida grabbed the belt and rose above his head, like he stared a complete icy cold stare into the heart of Kushida. Like why are you touching my future property, sir? but yeah,
he has nailed that stare though.
He has, man. Like it's
like
it's kind of like what you said, Jaeger's like how you've been saying it. It's that cop that now turned loose.
Like the dude that just is like itching to beat the shit out of somebody. And like he wants that to be Kushida right now.
I'm like, hey, somebody
like somebody's catching an ass whooping. It's about to be you, Kushida.
If he wins, I mean, if he doesn't,
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, I love that way that they're building everything because it's like, okay, this is, even if this match is a one and done for the most part, you have somebody in the blind spot right now, just waiting in the wings. And that kind of goes into someone else who actually is technically also in the fray of things, because of course all of you know that the stock market has been one of the main things that's been going on primarily recently, and it's been like the craze. And there's a phrase when something is going to raise in the stocks and be basically a huge get or a huge money bag in certain cases. And if it's something that's that pulled as, you know, GameStop, it would go to the moon. And ever since I heard that phrase, the one person I kept thinking about when I heard that phrase was Cameron Grimes.
Yes.
And on this episode of NXT, a nice Lambo pulled up. Didn't know who it was. I was surprised for a second. I was like, who the fuck is coming on with a Lambo? And this is why this situation was perfect for him, because when that Lambo pulled up, I can guarantee there was not one person who assumed that it was going to be Cameron Grimes coming out of that Lambo. And sure enough, saw them cowboy boots. Then it panned up, and you saw that hairy stomach, that hairy chest, that beard, that face, that top hat. And Mr. To the Moon himself has returned. And which, by the way, I didn't realize until he said it that he was actually gone for 2 fucking months.
Yeah.
Damn.
After he had lost to Thatcher, he disappeared.
Yeah, it didn't feel like that was so. It literally felt like it could have been like a month ago. It did not feel like it was 2 months. That's crazy. But now, of course, I'm sitting here like,
well, it wasn't exactly, 2 months in WWE's case. It was like the end of December. And so he was really going all of January.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't exactly 2 months. It was like,
well,
let's go with a month and a half or whatever, but whatever.
Yeah.
Now, when I noticed this new gimmick, I'm sitting there like, yo, where the fuck did Grimes get all this money from? Like, has he always had this money? Did he get a lick? And as he got into the ring, it started to click to me. I said to myself before I even said it, I was like, yo, are they about to capitalize on this whole stock market shit?
This whole to the moon shit.
And
they did.
And I'm glad they did, because it was the perfect person to do it. Like, this is, again, right place, right time, perfect person. That should align perfectly for him. And the thing about it was he cut that promo and he said, I was away and I got into this thing, this is video games for a little bit. And I played all the video games I could play. And then when I was out of playing video games, I went to get more. And I went to a place I stumbled upon called GameStop. And I was like, no, you're not finna do this.
He fucking did it.
And sure enough, he used it to his advantage. And you know what? I think that's the best way to do it. This could technically be your modern day $1 million man. Not necessarily to that full extent, but I think this is the perfect person to do it because of the fact that, no pun intended, Grimes looks grimy. He doesn't like the person that would be the type of person that would have buckets and buckets of money. So, and he actually is acting like a person who would act if they had this amount of money just out of nowhere. If they didn't know how to spend money or how to have this amount of money, that's the one way somebody would act like that. Completely over their head, over the top, and over the moon in certain cases. Mr. Grimes. But
this had me dying. I mean, not only because of the GameStop and Dogecoin, apparently.
And he called it Dogecoin. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you look, I mean, I don't know if y'all play stocks, but if you look at the stocks right now, let's see here. GameStop peaked at $347 January 27th. Since then, it has gone down to $52.40.
Yeah, it was 70 a few days ago. So yeah.
Dogecoin, when I bought into it last week, was at 4 cents a share.
That's how much I got mine for. And now it's at
7 cents a share. And I just really want him to hold on to the Dogecoin stock just so it can go to the moon. If he can just keep shooting, like just keep running promos about Dogecoin. Just keep it alive, man, because it's getting up there. Once it hits a dime, I might sell a few, but we'll see.
Hey, I'm gonna give y'all a quick update since I am watching SmackDown live. We predicted that on the SmackDown side, it's going to be an elimination chamber to determine Roman Reigns' #1 contender.
Yeah.
The only downside is whoever wins that elimination chamber fights Roman Reigns that night.
That night?
Wait, what?
Yeah. Whoever wins the SmackDown elimination chamber fights Roman Reigns that night. And Adam Pearce said, well, 2 people, he's going to have qualifying matches, and 2 people don't need to qualify. They're going to automatically be in there. And one of them is Kevin Owens, of course. And the other one is Jey Uso.
Oh.
Okay. So Jey Uso and KO are automatically in the chamber. We need 4 more competitors.
See, okay, and I know that this is completely sidebar.
Way to drop the ball.
But this is why there's such a disconnect between SmackDown and Raw. And that's the fact that on Raw, you had no qualifying matches. They just, okay, cool. You all are in. You all are previous champs. You get to go in. And on SmackDown, it's like you do the majority of the competitors have to qualify, and then you just enter 2 other people, which it would make sense for Jey Uso because, you can have Paul pull some strings like, okay, he's in. But yeah, man, this whole Raw is so fucked. I mean, Raw and SmackDown are weird in their respective rights. But yeah, man, I do miss the old days of when there was an elimination chamber. You had to qualify, regardless of what your status was. You had to qualify. Which go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go on. I want you to finish your thought.
No, it was just like one of those things where it's like it made like weekly television watchable because it's like you wanted to know who was going to make it into the chamber rather than just, you're going to tell me now? All right, cool. I don't have to watch the build up then. But
wait, so do we have everybody listed?
For Raw, yeah. For SmackDown, no. Okay.
So let's see here. From what I'm understanding, that I just pulled up an article about this because fucking already guaranteeing 2 spots to guys. But we have the potential to have the oldest elimination chamber, as in like average age of wrestlers participating.
Oh, because everybody's age.
Let's see here. We've
Well,
got AJ at 43.
Another quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna list off
I was
like
about to say,
all these
another
old
quick
people that are
pin.
doing this, but yeah, go for it.
Another quick pin to go back to that Future Stars thing. That was one of the things they talked about. If you look at the quote unquote top talent, everybody is in their 40s or late 30s.
Yeah.
Nobody is in their 20s. That's a top talent. So that's a quick pin to come later. But yeah.
See, and this would be the way to actually build talent, is to throw them in one elimination chamber, but also have qualifying matches where you actually showcase them better, and then have them have a good showing in an elimination chamber match. But again, who am I?
Oh, I was just looking at Drew McIntyre's chamber match. That's what it was. But yeah, Drew McIntyre's chamber match is actually going to be the oldest one, with AJ at 43, Jeff Hardy at 43, Sheamus at 43, then Randy Orton and The Miz at 40 apiece, and Drew McIntyre himself being 35. The average age of this group is 41.2 years old.
See,
do with that as you will, but yeah, I completely agree. We don't have enough young top men right now.
Giggity.
But that being said, we also don't have a huge amount of top men right now that are, well, they definitely have more than WWE, but AEW, like some of their top guys are getting a little up there.
True, but at the same time with them, it's like you can tell they're at the same time they're having people that's established to help build the foundation, and then building younger talent up on the way to basically, okay, you know what? Once we're gone,
very much
gonna,
very true.
You don't get that with the main roster WWE. NXT is like completely just like, for the most part, all young guys or all indie guys. So yeah,
do you think that might be WWE's method from now on? Keep all the young guys on NXT for about 5 years, let them get a little older, and
that could be the case. But at the same time, it would be better if they were to go that route. If that's the way that they're going about it, their execution on it once they go to the main roster is what's shit, because you don't build off of what they built during NXT. You basically bring them in as if they're like a fresh face, and nobody has any recollection of NXT, which is what sucks. Because especially if you were going to use that as a platform to help build your younger talent for the main roster, then you should allow the storylines to translate and be something that is adapted or transitioned to over into the main roster. So that way, because it's almost like a cheat code, because thinking about the old days where you had Edge or Gangrel or Ken Shamrock, before you brought people in, you always had like these promos or these vignettes, like, oh, this person's coming or this person's coming. Well, you have a huge fucking promo and vignette in NXT, which is their whole fucking catalog of matches and showcases and everything.
Yeah.
There you go. Like, you don't have to rebuild somebody if you've already built them up and established them here. So yeah, it's just the way that they're doing it is completely wrong, because they could technically be the best at it at this point if they wanted to. But again, just like Scoot said, VKM is so fucking stubborn in his ways that it has to be his way or nobody's way, and that's the hindrance. So that's
as long as you don't get in the way of the way.
No, he's definitely gonna try to get in the way of the way.
Please don't get in the way of the way.
He's already started, especially with bringing Austin Theory up and then basically throwing him right back down. So
for real though.
And that's what sucks. I mean, granted, I'm glad that he actually did go back down, because they didn't allow him to get thrust into obscurity. So that's a plus.
Oh yeah, he didn't go down with the ship like Andrade and Zelina did. So
Unfortunately, yeah. Well, unfortunately,
Unfortunate. I mean, yeah, for her, like.
But I mean, he did get a WrestleMania appearance, so
That is true.
that's
That is
his
very
part.
true.
Granted, it wasn't much of an appearance, but he got something, and he can at least say that he was in WrestleMania. He wrestled in WrestleMania. So only bad thing was it was last year's WrestleMania where there were.
Does that go down as like the worst WrestleMania? No, I don't think it goes down as the worst.
I don't know if it's. I don't think it's the worst. Like as far as like in ring, but as far as like the overall spectacle, yeah, I'd say it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was also their first ever 2-night WrestleMania. So
that was a 2-night WrestleMania.
Yeah,
man, they you know what they. I mean, I agree with the idea of it, but New Japan just does it better. New Japan does it better. Like the whole 2-night thing, like you have to be prepared like fully and not on the Vince McMahon tip where you're just planning as you go. Like you have to have that like perfect. But as far as build up to continue on with Scarlett and Regal situation, they had I don't know it happened during the time of what we had talked about. I'm not sure when, but it happened throughout the show. But Santos Escobar had an interview and basically him talking about Karrion Kross.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about time and how he's giving him time and all this shit like that. And so then you had Mendoza and Wild come into play. And basically, no, you're good, bro. And basically, he said, just here's the way you can pay me back after losing, and that's make sure he doesn't make it to next week. Which of course everybody knew who he was talking about, you know. But you can't send and this is one of the main reasons why I started to look at Wild and Mendoza as lackeys and not as perfect competitors. And that's
because he treated them exactly as such.
Yeah, the way that they're being used. And it's like, you know, and of course, I would understand the whole sentiment behind sending them out there. That's cool. But you haven't built them up enough to make them an imposing force to be like, hey, all right, we're going to go take care of this. Especially when he handled them weeks prior, you know. So my thing is, what makes you think that them going after him is going to render any results that were different from when they went up against him the previous time? So of course they didn't waste time throughout the show to get back to Wild and Mendoza laid out, which I'm glad they did it like that because that shows that he made quick work of them and it was effortless. And as the camera kind of went down, you saw Scarlett's feet walk by, and then out of nowhere, Karrion just came into the camera like, oh. And he threw that message. He said, you know, it's what they said. You know, you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. And yeah, so he gave TikTok and gave Santos that good old message, and Santos is going to get that work, not the work Scarlett gets, but
oh my God.
He's gonna get that great work. So, R.I.P. Santos Escobar.
You know what? We're in the age of empowerment now. I think maybe Cross is gonna get the work Scarlett gives
after he does his due diligence in the ring, takes care of Santos Escobar.
Yes.
Every action should be rewarded. Every accomplishment should be rewarded. Hard work pays off, people.
He gives that work to Escobar. She gives that work to him. There we go.
Are you gonna hear this?
So there's gonna be a crowd there. Gotcha.
Hey, all I'm gonna be chanting is "This is awesome," and fight forever.
But after all the good old shenanigans, we did have a few vignettes of to build up for
the three ladies. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well yeah, because you had Mercedes Martinez vignette, and then you had Io's vignette.
Tony Storms and then Io's. Yeah.
Io's was the best out of the three.
She say, fam,
Yeah.
I won my belt in a triple threat. Fuck triple threats, fam. I got this.
Yo.
The way
I got this.
This is one of the ways that you actually have, and of course Io can speak English, but her primary language is Japanese. This is how you build a star who does not speak English. The way that they're doing this is what they could have done with Asuka on the main roster plenty of fucking times. They use those subtitles to it, and they like when you have to read that shit, just like I read it this week during that promo. For some odd reason, and maybe that's because I'm an anime guy, and I've read plenty of subtitles, and I just know how certain things hit when you read them. So
yeah, exactly.
The way that she stated certain things is like, the Mae Young Classic was years ago. It's like I'm a champion. It's like you're not a champion, you are a challenger. And then to have her talk about Mercedes, like you spent 20 years chasing a championship that I have, and moving forward, it's like I'm going to be champion. So you're going to continue to chase that dream forever and ever and ever. And I was just like,
only because I want to see y'all's reaction. If I'm looking at this right, Dominic and Rey Mysterio are fighting Sami Zayn and King Corbin. And if I've been reading my subtitles right, which we'll be talking about subtitles, the winner of this tag team match, those two are in the Elimination Chamber.
That's a stupid way to get into the chamber.
So who wins that then, guys? I'm immediately saying Corbin and Sammy.
I think so too.
I would say that because it makes the most sense.
Yes.
But the match is happening now. So I'll update y'all if that was the actual rules. But yeah, the vignettes.
But yeah, it's just and the reason why I say that this was the better of the three, outside of just the subtitles and the way that it is, but the way that Io has carried herself as a champion, like her whole demeanor ever since the gimmick changed a little bit and then becoming a champion, it's like she has elevated her stock to the point to where I don't know how I could see her like previously when they start talking about the Genius of the Sky when she had just started out. Like I don't even recognize that Io Shirai anymore. I only see this, and it's just like this is how NXT builds their stars. Like if you look at every single fucking champion they've had time with. Let me preface it with that. Every champion that they've had time to build. They are like they go from wherever they came from to elite status. You think of Asuka, who had already been like elite, and what they did to elevate that, they gave her an undefeated streak, and they made her seem fucking legit. Like again, who nobody's ready for Asuka. That was very apparent. And then during every feud that Asuka had, she elevated other people within that. Nikki Cross, for instance. Granted, she never won a title, but they still made Nikki Cross look good. Shayna Baszler, who is a shell of herself right now.
Oh my God. You
can't tell me, even outside, see, and that's the crazy thing, is that you go from Asuka with the undefeated streak to having somebody who looks way more dominant than Asuka and Shayna Baszler. How she comes in, it's like, you know what? I just want to beat your ass. Like, simple as that. Like, no cheat, no games, no nothing. It's like, we're going to fight, and that's how it's going to be. And
not to cut you off, Dizzle, that was the rules. So Sami Zayn and Corbin won, so they are in the Elimination Chamber with KO and Jey Uso.
That's some bullshit. I mean, there's 1,001 better ways to put people in an Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
So now there's still 2 more spots to fill.
And how are you just gonna like? Because when is the Elimination Chamber?
The 21st.
Not this Sunday, but next Sunday.
So many pay-per-views in this month.
You're telling me you couldn't have taken last week, this week, and next week and take the time to fill those spots? Like that's TV time you can actually fill the right way. Like, why are you rushing it? You know,
Right.
at this point, you're giving me no reason to tune in the next week or to be intrigued by like who's going to win these spots. Like before, they would play. It would be paint by numbers. But it would be the right way a long time ago because they'd always do the same thing. The cliche, put the screen up, you have all the shadow figures on the thing, and it's like, who's going to take spots? And as those spots got filled up, you'd have one person filling one spot, one person filling the other spot. Up until like the go home show where it's like you still had one spot left. And it's like, okay, who's going to get into that spot? And you have story built around that entire situation. And now it's just like, okay, we got a pay-per-view. All right, let's go ahead and fill these matches out. It's like, why am I watching this? It's like, why?
But, see, if you were to talk to child me that was watching WWE and you know, when we were all growing up in our awkward years, you'd remember that exactly to your point, Lip, that like they'd spend maybe 3 weeks to 4 weeks on this, trying like sprinkle in people, and then on the last week, the go home show, they would have like a what's up?
Breaking news. It would be the Dirty Dogs, aka Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode,
right,
versus Cesaro and Daniel Bryan. And the winning team will be the other two.
Well, that's clearly Cesaro and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, that's obvious. Why are they doing it so obvious? Anyways.
All right, but my bad. You going back to your point, Gagger. I just want to let y'all know that that's the other match that was just announced.
Oh, my point was just to like reinforce Lips was just that they would even like throw in the extra drama even of, you know what? Hey, this fight finished dirty because this guy showed up, so now we're gonna make it a triple threat. So a guy that you didn't even think was gonna be in this could be in this, and you'd have a manager like Teddy Long, and you know what? Just for fuck's sake, let's just have you fight the Undertaker. Like I don't like. Yeah, there was just random swerves like that, like, and now it's just so I don't know, televised and announced.
Yeah, I mean, what happened to the beat the clock challenges? What happened to, you know, all the spots? Where's the last chance match? You know, for all the
Iron Man matches for it.
You know, and you know what? And to make the situation better, here's how you could have fixed what happened tonight. You take that same tag team match, you have that happen, but then you have the winners face each other for a spot. That would have built more, especially with the
Yes.
And it's like, okay, you got father versus son. If they won, okay, cool. Now you got to have that tension there. It's like, oh, well, shit. You know, Ray's been there, but now you have Dominic as the up-and-comer. It's like now it's like I'm intrigued. Who's going to win? Is it going to be father? Is it going to be son? You know, what's going to happen after they, you know, is one going to be bitter from the other? It's like how do you not know how to book this shit? Like, seriously. Again, they don't pay me for this shit. So what the fuck ever.
Right.
But anyway, but on to some good booking. The main event for NXT.
Wait, hold on. Let me hit it. So we had Thatcher and Ciampa versus the grizzled young veterans.
And that's how you do it, folks.
Boy, I don't know what it is about those two, but damn it, anything GYV does, they got me hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look. This match, and the thing is, the psychology with everything, because I had my questions and my doubts about like how I wanted this match to go and who I wanted to go over, because of course, again, and just before I even get to that, let me get with that promo that Thatcher and Ciampa had.
Yes.
Because that again, like I got goosebumps from the way that they just delivered that whole thing. You had them sitting next to each other, Ciampa talking, and then Ciampa signing off with Thatcher's sign off. And then taking the chair back, like I was like, yo, I'm getting chills now thinking about it now. It's like that's how you build character. That's how you build a match. That's how, like, that's fucking talent. But the psychology with everything.
Go ahead. I would say, but did you catch the promo my boy Gibson dropped on the way to the ring? They was like, how can y'all two even be a tag team? Thatcher, You betrayed your last partner, Ciampa. Look what happened with you in tag teams. So how could y'all even be considered a tag team?
And this right here was one of the reasons why that promo alone changed my mind on it being okay for Thatcher and Ciampa to lose, because what that promo did was basically try to set up that MacGuffin of that whole dissension between the two. It's like, y'all are singles wrestlers, y'all have the potential to betray each other. And I was like, okay, the way they said that, that's not what's going to happen. That means that if they lose, they're going to be okay, and they're actually still going to be a tag team, which means that eliminates that whole process. So I was like, you know what? Now let's get into the match. And I wanted this match to go longer because I wanted more out of it.
Right.
Because just the way that they kind of came into it, it was like the psychology with this match. You still had GYV basically schooling two former tag team champions in the art of tag team, because the way that they use each other, it was like, okay, cool. Yeah, granted, Thatcher and Ciampa are two former tag champions with different partners, and they are great in their respective talents, but they haven't been a team for that long, and they don't have that same dynamic or familiarity with each other that GYV has, and that's what technically won the match over for GYV. And it wasn't a situation of whether or not they could hang with a former world champion or a former tag champion. Regardless, it was the fact that they just had better psychology within the tag team realm, and that's what the story was within this match. And this is why I wish that it went longer. But granted, they still told the story within a good time, but the ending is what basically called it. And that was the fact of Ciampa coming back after being hurt, but coming in for the Widow's Belt, and then having I think they had Drake was in was in the position for the Widow's Belt, I believe.
I think so. I think it was Drake.
And then Zach Gibson came and he grabbed his legs so that way he would have that momentum pull him forward. And perfect. Just perfect. And that's why I'm glad, because now you have two teams. And it's funny because it's what you were talking about, a few podcasts ago, Scoot, where you had said that it was all singles competitors who were mashed together with makeshift teams being winners, outside of UE being like the only real legit tag team that actually has won Dusty Classic. And now you have two legit tag teams going in to basically go for the Dusty Cup, which at this point, again, and this is why I stated that this is why I wanted this match to be the finals, because of the fact that it would have solidified the fact that, okay, yeah, two singles competitors can actually come in and make a good team, but all in all, you can't beat tag team psychology. And I wish that was a story going in. And so now you have a different story, which is not bad because MSK, again, is a good tag team. But for story purposes, I felt like this should have been given more time and been like the finals. So,
yes.
But
so they definitely would have been more hard hitting.
Yes. But at the same time, I don't take anything away from the actual finals match, which is, I believe, is going to be a clash of styles, and it's going to be a very, very good match. So here's to that shit. I just hope that everybody's on the same page and we just get that same magic that we had in the very first match of NXT. So, and of course they pulled something different. They basically reminded everybody that they had the whole card set up.
This one I thought was a little cheesy, just a little bit. It was a little cheesy, but
I did too.
All right. So with that being said, while we're here, let's go ahead and do these Vengeance Day predictions. Okay. I say let's start with Kushida versus Gargano. Who do we think is going to take it?
Gargano. He has to.
I'm leaning. I kind of want Kushida.
Same.
I kind of want Kushida.
Oof.
Because then it would fit with Gargano's narrative too of like short-lived title reigns.
Yeah.
Especially with the U.S. title.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I'm still gonna go with Gargano just because I feel like because no, I still don't see him in Austin Theory going after tag titles. So I think this may be the one thing that damn it. You know what? No, I'm not even a reason why. I'm just gonna say Gargano's gonna take it. He's gonna find a way to take it. Because if any I think the one person that is gonna take it from him is probably gonna be
Loomis. Okay.
Yeah, because I think what's gonna happen is once Loomis takes it, then you're going to get Grimes back into the fray against Loomis. And I think Grimes is going to take that title from Loomis because I don't think Loomis is going to have a long reign. I think Grimes is going to come in with this new gimmick. He's going to take the title off of Loomis and run with it. So I say
that works too.
Gargano, Kushida, and then the next feud is going to be Loomis, which probably will be like WrestleMania weekend. And then
I can see that.
You're going to have Grimes come in and then take that, and he's going to take that shit to the moon. So
I can see that.
So with this information, I will say Kushida loses, but not clean.
Yeah, that's definitely.
I could 100% see that happening.
Yeah.
All right. So next up, I'm gonna say the women's Dusty Finals: Raquel and Dakota versus Ember and Shotzi.
Man, why you gotta make me upset? Why you gotta make me upset, man? I'm gonna be sad all the way to Sunday.
Yeah,
I mean, clearly Shotzi and Ember Moon. Yeah.
Look, it's gonna be the Kiwi Buzzsaw and Big Mommy Cool. Definitely. That's the way that it should go. I mean, honestly, like nothing against Ember and Shotzi, but as far as the dynamic and the way that we've kind of seen them and what we've kind of related them to being like old school Shawn Michaels and Diesel, I think that dynamic is what's needed, and that's what needs to have the titles on them. Because I don't think Ember and Shotzi gain anything from having the tag titles, like, to be honest.
No.
As sad as it makes me to
like makes you a little sad.
As sad as it makes me,
I'm just Shotzi personally have the NXT Women's title rather than the tag titles.
That's a big old yelp.
I think she's gonna win it though. I think at some point Shotzi is gonna win that title, like for sure. She has too much charisma not to at this point. So yeah, I can see her as the face of the women's division.
All right, next let's do the women's triple threat with Io Shirai, champ, versus Mercedes Martinez and Toni Storm. Who's taking that one?
This kind of goes back to what we talked about before, where I stated that I can't see anybody taking that title off of Io. Like, I still don't see anybody that's credible enough at this point to be able to take that title outside of it being a returning Tegan. So I still believe that Io is going to retain on this one. It'll be a good match though, but Io retains.
Same.
And the reason I think it's a triple threat is because I think either Mercedes is probably going to be the one to take the fall. But I think it's a triple threat because they're trying to build up one of the other competitors. So one person has to take a fall, and which is usually the reason for a triple threat match is for somebody to take the fall to make one person not look weak. So
looking at you, Toni Storm, who's looking good out of this.
You know, I kind of want Io to keep it, but I think they might pull something and maybe Toni might end up getting it. Because then she could be the second woman to say she had both titles.
Oh. See, and I would want to go with that, but with Rhea technically being on the main roster now, I don't see. Well, I mean, I can still see a reason for her having bragging rights, but I think that would have been a good reason to build up like a story to have them have like a third match a third technically like championship match.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Rhea gone, it makes it hard. But I can see if they're gonna bring Io up and Tony's gonna be the one that holds it, then I definitely then at that point it's either gonna be a return in Tegan or Shotzi that's gonna take that title off of Tony, if that's the case. But I still kind of stand with Io because I think that she has a few more legs with the title, and I feel like if anything, she'll probably be called up after Mania, if anything. So I'd see that she's holding that title till Mania.
To Mania. That makes sense too. All right. The men's Dusty Classic finals with the grizzled young veterans versus MSK.
Let me hear you hit that one more time, Scoot. That's just too good.
The grizzled young veterans.
Yeah, that's my pick.
In MSK.
Yeah, my pick is GYV, but
same. That's been my pick since the tournament started.
I would not be surprised if they allowed MSK to take it, but that to me that's like a 10% chance because 90% of that is definitely going to GYV because there's no reason why you would have them lose 2 in a row. You know, it's almost a given at this point. So
GYV. Now, does GYV get them titles from Lorcan and Birch?
No.
Really? You don't think so?
Yeah, unless they, because I mean I know GYV is technically tweeners at this point. At least they're acting like it because they don't care about anybody. But I don't know. It feels like somebody's gonna come in and take those titles off of Lorcan and Birch. Like out of nowhere because they haven't really done anything. So usually when that happens, they usually lose in like a fluke victory to somebody else. So
true.
And then that's when GYV stakes their claim and it's like, yo, we won the Dusty Classic. We still haven't got our title match. So y'all are the sacrificial lambs.
Okay.
So that team, I don't know. I don't know who that team is going to be, but yeah.
All right. And last but not least, we got the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne versus the Prince Finn Balor. Who is taking that one?
As much as I want to see Dunne win it, I don't see Balor losing.
I think it's ultimately going to be Balor and Cross.
Yeah. And with the way that they've built up Finn's title reign now, it's setting him up to be okay to lose to Cross because of how many basically wars he's going to go in. You know, because they're basically the story, you know, glass jaw. I think Pete Dunne said over the hill at some point, and they're basically having a war-torn Finn going against a completely dominant Cross. And so I think that's what's going to happen is he's just going to come in and be dominated by Cross. Because there's really no other way, and this is a good excuse because he's come in and he's been beat up since he's won that title. So,
right, right. You got to think from that Iron Man match to the one-on-one to, like you said, the Kyle O'Reilly defenses. You're right.
So this is definitely going to be something to where it's like he's going to have that bravado going in against Cross, and it's going to be a nice build, and it's going to be an even greater match. But at the end of the day, it's going to be that wear and tear on Finn that ultimately causes him the championship. So definitely.
All right, so that was NXT, ladies and gents. And with that being said, fellas, I don't know if you noticed my color scheme that I've been having going on, you know, with the black and white all going on. And I'm just saying, you know, even though the weather outside is a little cold out here in the Houston streets, but you know, it's getting a little toasty. And with that being said, you know, just letting y'all know. Know what I'm saying?
I can't see it.
You can't see it?
His camera's frozen on my end.
Oh, no, it's frozen. Oh no.
Well then.
Hold on. Let me come back and then you'll see it.
Oh man.
Oh man.
I apologize here.
No, you're good. You're good. You're gonna be mad that
Am I?
that you didn't pull the trigger first.
Oh,
No pun intended.
that goodbye and good night.
Bang.
You know, to let the people know.
Oh, there it go. Oh, there it go.
To let the people know. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
How Excalibur said, you know, you gotta give the people what they want.
Oh, you got to.
You know.
Is that the 4 Life one, or is that just a straight up Bullet Club one?
Just straight Bullet Club.
Nice.
Oh man.
But yeah, so with the AEW story I have, it's a very unique one in a sense because it was a story that was discussed on the Jim Cornette Experience, but the story is really more of how do y'all feel about people who always comes to the defense of something? Like for instance, to give a preface to the story,
Sure.
Dave Meltzer is a super defender of AEW.
Yeah.
That if you say anything negative about AEW, he's coming at you. And Brian Last and Dave Meltzer had like a little back and forth over it. So at this point, is Dave Meltzer basically just dick riding AEW, or he really just enjoy it? And why do people got to be such super defenders over things? Like, you can't have a great product without some negativity or something negative to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
So with him saying that almost everything AEW do is damn near perfect, they can quote unquote never get better because nothing they do is wrong. Yeah. So that's the question I pose to both of you guys. Do y'all think at this point Dave Meltzer is just dick riding, or he really enjoys it? And why are there such super defenders of AEW?
To answer the second question first, being why are there such super defenders of AEW? It feels like that people are putting like all their chips into the AEW basket, looking for it to eventually take over, well, the parent WWE. I shouldn't say parent, but the big boss.
Yeah.
I know I would love to see something like that down the road, but I know it's not happening this year. Shit, probably not happening next year. Might happen in 5 years. We'll see. But yeah, I can understand the people that want to pull for it, but don't deride it all the way.
Yeah.
For Meltzer to say, I mean, to go into the suspicion that Meltzer is thinking everything's perfect, it would be a little, I guess, it would be naive of Meltzer to do. I mean, look at all the matches he's called, and I mean, but look at who his favorite guys are. They're all at AEW right now.
And that was one of the things that they were saying. It was the fact that because Brian Last said he has read every Wrestling Observer ever. Like, he reads them all.
Yeah.
And he was saying, you know, back in the day, Meltzer would have tore stuff like this apart. So not to say that his preference changing, but the fact that he's so just here, like, you can't mention anything negative about AEW without him firing back at you. And he was like, what is happening with Uncle Dave, as they call him? Like, what is going on with Uncle Dave here? So
I'd say, he got cozy with some wrestlers that he honestly should, if he wanted to keep the legitimacy of his reviews and his like wrestling opinions like legit, then he probably shouldn't have cozied up so much to Kenny, to the Bucks, to Cody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shit, I met him in person when I was at All In. Like, he was there. He was
Yeah.
in it. and I mean, I wasn't there for the conversation he had with my friend, but it seemed like he's just forgive the pun here, but he was all in on AEW.
Yeah.
Or at least what was the infant stage of AEW.
Mm-hmm. I mean, my thing as far as my take on it is especially when it comes to the fans, when you have the ones who were AEW can do no wrong. It's more so the fact that, you know, nobody really wants that honeymoon phase to die. You know, especially if you have something that you love so much, you would hate somebody to criticize it. And you have some of these so many of these diehard fans who followed BTE, who followed everything that's going on in New Japan and ROH with the whole Bullet Club thing. I mean, the whole Bullet Club thing. I mean, some people don't, you know, they would say it's a cult thing at some point, you know, but you know, it's not. It's just a way that, you know, people's take on wrestling. It's like,
oh, hold on, sidebar before you finish. They think the only reason why these shirts sold so well in America was because people thought it was a gun-related thing and not a wrestling thing. That's what they think.
That's why it was only sold at Hot Topic, because, you know, all the NRA members love Hot Topic.
Apparently, right?
Here's the reason why that's bullshit. Because as somebody who enjoys the BC for life lifestyle, I'm gonna tell you this. Anytime I saw somebody with the Bullet Club shirt, I did the same thing every time, whether I went to Gen Con in Indianapolis, whether I was here in Houston, where I was anywhere. Anytime I saw somebody with a Bullet Club shirt, I would walk and be like, yo, too sweet. And it's the same thing every time. Too sweet.
Every fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
No questions asked, no looking at me like, what are you doing?
I guess because he met the one guy. Brian Ladd said he went to a party and he met the one guy who had a Bullet Club shirt on, and the guy thought it was a gun-related thing. So I guess because of that one person he met that thought this was a gun-related thing, he thinks that the only reason why they merch so well in the U.S. is because they thought it was a gun nut thing.
Well, that's fun. I mean, granted, I've heard that rumor before, but at the same time, I personally have never met one person who misconstrued what Bullet Club was.
Same.
So, you know, but again, I'm a wrestling fan, so there's that. But either way, but that goes to my point. You know, you never, you know, if you like something, you never really want it criticized, especially from somebody who doesn't get it. And I think that's where that parallel from, you know, you got Dave Meltzer and you have Jim Cornette, where it's like you have the one who's on the extreme side of like, oh, I hate it, they can't do anything right. And then you have the other extreme where it's like, oh, well, they can't do anything wrong. That disconnect, it messes up a lot of things, because you have perfect examples on what can happen if you're blind on one side and blind on the other. And you have guys in the middle like us who love the products and we praise it for what it does right, but we also criticize for what it does wrong. So, but that's not to say that you don't have those outliers who are going to look at it and be like, oh, you know, they can never do anything wrong. Oh, that's fucking great. Because you have the same thing on WWE side. WWE is fucking trash, but you have people that look at it and say, oh, y'all are just stands for AEW, or y'all hate it because y'all like this and like that. So again, you really can't win, because you're going to have those in every pocket. So yeah, but you know, Dave has gone a little far, but hey, but he said
one might say he might be drinking some of the Kool-Aid.
I mean, Cornette said he went ahead and blocked him on Twitter because he can't stand to see what Dave has turned into.
Yo, I tried to follow this Twitter back and forth, and it literally ended with a tweet that Brian last deleted, and I can't go back any further. But Meltzer's reply to is what reply? Did he address all the specifics of what I said? Would love to see it. And it says tweet is unavailable. I know, it's some shit, right? I need to find more of these tweets.
And I mean, yeah, that's them and themselves. Wow. See now I have dog issues now. Ain't that some shit? But but either way, I mean, yeah, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, because you're gonna have every type of person who criticizes and praises it in their own manner, except for us.
Right.
We do it right.
I mean, that's what I always think personally, that if you really truly love something, you can criticize it as well.
Oh, yeah.
You can see the faults in something you truly love, no matter how much you in the honeymoon phase or whatever. I always felt if you really love something, you can criticize it at the same time.
And I'm glad that you said that, Scoot, because for everybody who's praising WWE and to WWE themselves, it's not the fact that we just hate the product like that. It's the fact that we know that what you're doing is fucking lackluster and we want the best for it. We want to watch it. We just can't stand it to put on TV because it's fucking trash and it insults our intelligence. I don't like my intelligence being insulted. I know I'm not stupid. I went to school, like Booker T says.
Exactly. I went to school.
So, yeah. Fuck y'all, WWE. but yeah. What else you got on the docket, Scoot?
That was really it. I didn't really hear too much AEW things. So that was just really more of an interesting take to see what y'all thought about with Uncle Dave and basically him, quote unquote, dick riding AEW.
He's approaching dangerous waters with it, but I don't think he's there yet.
Well, Jaeger, to update you on, because like I said, this was the first Cornette I listened to in a while. Right. He updated the Young Bucks name, so they're not the Young Fucks anymore. They're the Hardly Bros.
Hardly Bros,
or the Hardly Brothers.
Now, so wait, now is he just saying hardly just to say hardly, or is he saying it from like the South Park reference from the Hardly Boys?
He is a South Park fan.
Okay,
so I don't know,
because that insult would hit harder if he was trying to say like they're the Hardly.
Yeah,
Boys. It could be, like I said, he is a huge South Park fan, so I don't know. Serpentico is Dwarf Dome Sucker number 2.
Dwarf Dome Sucker number 2.
Dong Sucker.
Oh, dong. I mean, dome, dong. It kind of like still means the same thing, but damn.
Because Dwarf Dong Sucker number 1 is Marco Stunt. Who else?
Look,
somebody else who gave a name too, and I just literally forgot.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, Cornette. I'll make the public apology right here. I am sorry that not every competitor can be over 6'5" and weigh 250 pounds. I'm sorry that Marco Stunt just draws despite the fact that he's under 5'10". Like, same with, I mean, Darby Allin might be around 5'10", but he's under 200 pounds, and yet he's a TNT champ. So, fuck you. I don't know. Like, get with the times, old man. Fuck.
If I could think of more, I'll update throughout the show. But yeah, that was basically some updates to nicknames.
Like, what other shit? What does he call Thunder Rosa? I wonder.
Oh no, he loves Thunder Rosa. Oh, he loves Thunder Rosa.
You're telling me that I agree with Cornette on something? What the fuck?
So speaking of, they keep calling Big Swole the worst wrestler in AEW. What was so horrible about that tooth and nail match? Because I don't think I saw the tooth and nail match. So what was so bad in that match? Because
I mean, it was a cinematic match.
In a way, it was kind of messy as a cinematic match, but it wasn't like, it was more entertaining than it really was like a match. You know, there wasn't much that really went into it, like match psychology wise, outside of from the part when they actually like went outside and they wrestled for a bit. But anything inside the actual dental office was like, you know, it's what you would get from like any like cheesy segment on WWE TV. So
Because apparently they absolutely hated that match. And they hated it so much that they invoked the tooth and nail rule. And the tooth and nail rule is anybody who was involved in that match, they will fast forward their matches.
Now that's retarded.
Because like I said, so that's why I'm asking y'all, because I didn't get a chance to see the tooth and nail match. So I was like, what was so bad in that match to where they think Big Swole is the worst wrestler ever?
I mean,
and they lost mainly their confidence in Britt Baker a little bit.
How do you arrive to that conclusion?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That goes with that extreme shit, though. You know, again,
that's why I wanted to ask y'all. Like, was there something I missed? Was that match that bad or what? But yeah,
it wasn't the greatest thing. But I mean, we've seen worse things on TV before, so technically, yeah. I mean, if that's the case, if you were going to deem somebody for a bad match, then you might as well go and take Impact, for instance, with the Sting and Jeff Hardy match. When God. Gone out of his fucking ass, you might as well just go ahead and just demonize him for the rest of his life if that's the case. But I'm pretty sure Jim Cornette didn't do that. So again, there are way worse matches that have happened to where you can demonize other people. But this, it's a cinematic.
Not to upset y'all even more before we get into the Dynamite review. Last week's main event was the worst match of the night, according to them.
Last week's main event. Oh, you talking about the 6-man?
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad match.
That was not a bad match.
It was horrendous to them. Like I said, I enjoy listening to just hear that they just say the complete opposite of everything we say, and it's entertaining as hell to me.
I just don't think I don't think they like the spot fest, which I mean,
they really don't.
I can understand that, but I mean, at the same time, it's not like it's bad because it's with the people that you have inside the ring. You know, you have people that cater to their own style. So, and with
Phoenix is Felix.
Ray Phoenix.
Granted, it is kind of spelled like Felix, just without the L.
And apparently, he keeps calling her Jane Cargill instead of Jade. And Brian finally asked him, "Why do you refuse to call her Jade?" He says he remembers on her first promo, she said Jane Cargill.
No.
Like I said, I could
either.
I don't recall that at all, to be honest.
So yeah, that's why he calls her Jane instead of Jade. So she's Jane Cargill, and then on the WWE side, Nia Jax is Nia Jax.
It sounds like Cornette just has a problem with pronouncing names to me.
He does it on purpose because every now and then Brian will keep correcting him, but he does it on purpose because he kept calling Ron Gronkowski, and he just kept doing it. So he does it to be antagonistic, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, hence why Kenny Omega went from Kenny Olivier to Twinkle Toes McFingerbang. Like, come on. That's being antagonistic to the 10th power.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
It really is.
But, all right, Mr. Host, get it rolling with Dynamite.
You got it. So the first match, which I was surprised they started off with this match, was the TNT Championship match between Darby and Joey Janela, which I have to take back.
Jelly Nutella, by the way.
I have to take back what I said.
Jelly Nutella.
Jelly Nutella.
Jelly Nutella. All right.
I believe it was either last week or the week before that I have to take back, because when I talked about Darby and being in the feud with Taz and hosting shit going on, and how they weren't building the TNT Championship, and then we went on the whole thing about Janela's rankings and stuff like that, and he's like, "Oh, he's not even ranked. He doesn't really deserve a championship match." I have to take that back because, again, Cody built up this title very well, and he basically just took on any and everybody that wanted the chance. Like, he didn't go by the rankings.
Okay.
Open challenge every week. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I totally forgot Cody did do that.
So I got to take that back. Now, granted, only the Joey Janela part. Everything else, because I felt like the shit with Tasnim is taking away from the TNT Championship scene. Now, if you would have had Ricky Starks be the next competitor for that, or have Will Hobbs be the next competitor for that, then yeah, I can be like, okay, cool. He's basically just running the gauntlet with Team Taz. But that's not the case. So again, they could be doing better on that end. But it seems like they're going back on track with this Joey Janela match. So good shit. This match seemed to kind of just fly by. I don't want to say it was a bad match. It really just honestly just kind of flew by. I felt like I blinked and it was like over with. There were some good spots. Right. You can tell like the chemistry between Janela and Darby is really, really good. Like good.
But they've had a few matches together, right?
Yeah,
like and Pro Wrestling Guerrilla in other days.
And commentary touched on it a few times, I believe. But
Excalibur made one sentence about it, I think.
but yeah, this is one of the matches that I feel would have benefited from having more time, especially being a championship match, to where you could have actually built up Darby as a champion and built up Joey as a legit competitor for the title down the line. Like this, in a sense, just headed to where it's like, okay, well, he's just a body to fill this slot for right now, and then we're just gonna go on to the next thing. But yeah, I mean, that's my thoughts on it. Not much to really go over on that one. Y'all have any thoughts on that?
It was okay match. It was pretty solid. I mean, it was definitely something to give Darby something to do. That's how I looked at it. You know, to give Darby a title defense in between the street fight and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's and about this show too. This show kind of felt the same way. It felt like it did fly by. Like it felt like I don't want to say like they were rushing anything, but I mean, and I watched this before I even watched NXT, so the parallels weren't even there to even match it up with NXT by watching a pack show like NXT and going to this. This felt like kind of just rushing. And once I got into NXT, it was like the slowdown happened. Like it was definitely felt.
Well, they had 6 matches in here, so if you felt like this was like a little faster paced, then yeah, I mean it's rightly placed. What was it? I felt this Joey Janela and Darby Allin match was great, considering the build up that Darby even put up prior to this.
Yeah,
like issuing the challenge to the old Joey Janela. And then I did like how, you know, with the new year, you've got the ranking system gets reset. So they're starting off like Joey Janela. I mean, it's February, but he's 2-0. He's undefeated right now so far. So they did prop him up well, and especially because he has name recognition.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, for everything that it was, this match was very well done, in my opinion. I mean, there was nothing bad about it.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I like that they actually did like the promo for Janela as well. Because I think if they continue that, because I think they did that before, like when everything first started, they were still giving like Janela promos as well. And I thought that was going to have that transition over throughout the course of AEW, and it seemed like it fizzled out. But you know, I guess they're getting back to form now with Joey Janela, as they should, because he's not a bad wrestler, and he actually they benefit from him being in like the matches that are unsanctioned or the hardcore matches or matches that he actually fits well in. So, you know, good on that shit. Justice for Joey. But
next was a match that definitely could have used less time.
Yeah. Well, I think that they have the wait, because I think
the promo,
the inner circle shit.
Oh, with Sammy punching
MJF in the
gut.
Yeah, I think that was next because I know they didn't go right into the match, but yeah, and this kind of fed into what I was thinking before, because I remember when we first started talking about this a long time ago, I was talking about everybody joining MJF and then the outlier being Sammy becoming a face. I still believe that for the most part, but I still believe what I talked about previously or most recently, that he was going to be like that that one last nail in the coffin to Jericho, to be with MJF. So I think this is kind of like a setup, a very strategic setup. But of course, you have the follow-up from the previous week where Sammy goes into the locker room and he's basically letting everybody know, like, hey, get out, give us the room. I need to talk to him. And it's perfect how they sprinkle in the little tidbits where they had Santana look at MJF and it was like, yo, you good?
Yeah. I was like, whoa.
I was like, huh. Like that's, yeah. And so then you had, so of course, you had Proud and Powerful get up. Then you had Hager put a hand on MJF's shoulder, and then stare at Sammy, and then leave. And then of course you still had Wardlow, and Wardlow got the cue to leave. But then this is what makes me believe that this is a situation where Sammy might still be in cahoots with MJF, and that's because he said, "Cameraman, you stay." Because usually the only reason you would want to have that is if you had evidence for, hey, this is what's going on, or B, you're trying to set something up to where it's like, I'm showing the dissension that we have. I'm going to punch you, and then they'll see that I don't like you and continue this on. So of course, that transition, he did this weird ass fake punch, and of course you had MJF play that shit up as if his ribs were broken from like that one kidney shot.
What I did catch and I did like is that you had the back and forth between Sammy and MJF, and then if Sammy finally said exactly what MJF wanted him to say. It was just like, what do you want me to tell you, Chris? What do you want me to tell you, Max? You want me to tell you that I think Chris Jericho sucks? You want me to think that I think that he's just not fit to be a leader, this and that? And then MJF just goes, yeah, that's all I need to hear. And takes his phone up, and he and this is why I think that there's actually like a feud going on, is because of that, where he's recording Sammy. Yeah. And which leads to Sammy then chucking his phone at the wall and then punching him square in the ribs. And you know what? It would be one hell of a swerve if they actually come around and Sammy's been in cahoots with Max that whole time.
Yeah, and there's another reason why I do believe that, but we'll talk about that later during the next segment that comes up. Yeah, but yeah, and this is like the way that they've been building this up. Like it's been up and down, but like I'm way more intrigued as it's gone on now because of the fact that like you have the build up between like, okay, well, who's going to actually join, who's going to be in his side, who's not, so on and so forth. So, but more on that shit to come. But the next match, not my favorite, and it definitely shows why you need to have a lot more, why you need to have certain matches on Dark and certain matches on Dynamite, because chemistry is a huge thing. And if it's not there, you have accidents. That match was Cody and Lee Johnson versus Peter Avalon and Cesar Bononi. Granted, I think the showcase of Lee Johnson was technically by accident because Cody did get hurt in this match, and you could clearly see.
Okay, so what happened?
So Cody got put in position for a pump handle slam by Cesar Bononi, and once Bononi got Cody up, I don't know if he just didn't let go of his arm at the right time. Because when Cody came down, he came down on his shoulder. So I don't know if it's a matter of him not letting go, or if Cody just like positioned wrong and just fell on his shoulder. But you could tell once Cody hit the ground, like he was in pain. He was trying to shake his arm off and everything, but again, he fought through the pain. It's a tear. It's a tear in his rotator cuff, so it's not completely.
Also, it's legit that he got hurt.
Yeah.
Wait, who did? Caesar, right?
Cody.
Cody. Oh shit! Damn it! That's why I kept seeing all the big announcements about somebody getting injured.
Yeah, it's a tear in his rotator cuff, but it was definitely from that pump handle slam that he got from Benoni.
Wait, is it going to impact the match with Shaq?
That is another thing that I wanted to bring up because
I want to see the Black Tornado.
This match.
I want to see nothing involving a Black Tornado with Shaq.
My thing is this, because I mean they kept trying to say that it may not take a while, that it may not take too long for it to heal, but it's going to take a while because a rotator cuff when it's messed up, it takes longer.
Yeah,
so tear is still going to be longer than they need for this match when it comes up. So I believe that I hate to say it like this, but it's more like a blessing in disguise. You know, you get Cody some time off, you know, get to go spend time with Brandy, you know, while they get prepared for their newborn.
Yeah.
You get Red Velvet to shine because you put her in a singles match against Jade Cargill. Hey, if Shaq want to be there at ringside, by all means, you go there, be there at ringside, man. Just don't touch that ring. Now,
oh, you know he's gonna run interference. Come on.
Now,
right.
Again, they could easily slot somebody else into this picture to go for Cody, but at that point, it loses all story because
why not push the guy who just got his first big win at AEW?
Damn, he was really 0-29.
Yeah,
Lee Johnson.
Yes.
Shit, I didn't even know his record like that. But if that was the case, okay, you know what? Let's talk about this.
Okay.
0-29.
Why the fuck?
Why is he part of the Nightmare Family? Is my
I'm trying to know why the Nightmare Family is a thing. Because I can understand it being like, you know, hey, Cody, Brandy, Dustin, even QT Marshall at this point, you know, and Arn.
Of course, Arn. Oh, and Arn's kid now made his little debut in the crowd.
Yeah.
But at was it Brock Anderson?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Definitely a wrestling name.
Right. My thing is like, and it's funny because now it's become a running joke because everybody's like, oh, you know, they got like 82 members in the Nightmare Family, 170 members in the Nightmare Family, and it's like that. If that's just a running joke at this point, Nightmare needs to be nowhere near anybody's name outside of like Cody's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it, because it's becoming a running gag with the Nightmare Collective, Nightmare Family, just
natural nightmares.
Natural nightmares. It's just like, no. It's like it's enough.
Let's see who's all in this. I'm gonna pull up the members.
No shit.
Let's see here. Oh. This
wow. The fact that you said it like that means that it's longer than my Justice 4 list. So
they got 11 members right now.
Oh, is it just 11?
So I mean, but then they have former members, of course, like MJF, Awesome Kong. Oh, they're throwing in Brandy's Nightmare Collective in there as well. Not
surprising.
And then the part-time members are, of course, DDP, Glacier, Tommy Dreamer, Stephen Amell. So call it an even or an odd 15 if you're going to include the part-time members.
Because I know you got Lee Johnson, you got the Gun Club.
Yeah, all those make sense.
3 people: Billy, Austin, and Colton.
Yeah, you got Cody, who you said. You got Brandy, QT, Dustin, Orn. Who else?
All right,
Lee Johnson. That.
You also, like you said, Lee Johnson, Aaron Solo, and Nick Camarado.
Really? When did they become members?
Aaron Solo and Nick Camarado literally became members 4 days ago.
Because they just signed Lee Johnson to a contract.
Yeah. Apparently Lee Johnson's been a Gun Club member since October 30th. But yeah, Aaron Solo and Nick Camarado were this week. DDP, AEW's in-house trainer, is he's been with them since September 1st, 2018. Oh, hey, we know that day. Anyway, same with Glacier, same with Tommy Dreamer, and then that's interesting. Stephen Amell joined last year, like right around this time.
Makes sense.
Okay.
I mean, and ironically, I did mention my Justice 4 list because all of you know that Dolph Ziggler is on my Justice 4 list. whose real name is Nick Nemeth, and his brother Ryan was in the next match against Pac. But before that, there was a backstage segment with good old Hangman, and the one person on the top of Scoot's most hated list, Matthew Hardy, aka Money Matt.
Yeah, he's Money Matt right now for sure.
This actually gave me some intrigue with the way that they set this up, because again, you had NXT do that old school trope with Johnny Gargano and the comedic shit, and then you had this old school backstage segment where you had that mystique as to what's going to happen. Like, what's that whole mysterious deal where he put the contract down, trying to pull one over on Hangman, and then Hangman did the switcheroo, had him sign something else, and so now everybody's wondering, hey, what did he sign? So, Scoot, I know you care so much about this, man. What you think's gonna happen?
Wait, did Hangman pull a switcheroo?
Hangman did pull a switcheroo.
I didn't even catch him pulling a switcheroo. Jesus Christ. That was some Wild West shit there, Hangman Page.
Hold on, let me get Scoot all up in there. Scoot,
oh.
let us know. Let us know.
Oh, man.
Just how you feel.
Cameron Grimes is a better big money Matt than Matt Hardy.
God damn.
Oh man. Now the one thing I did like about this whole situation was how they still kept Dark Order in the mix with this, because
another update. They're not the Dark Order anymore. They're the Job Order.
Ouch.
They've been winning. Whatever. Like, I'm gonna throw something at Jim Cornette if I ever meet that man. Be it a tomato or a steel chair, it depends on what's in my hand at the time.
But yeah, they're the Job Order now. So they graduated from the Dark Order to the Job Order.
Well, since the Dark Order is still in the picture, do we still see Hangman eventually joining the Dark Order, or is that pretty much like a done deal?
I think honestly it depends on what they plan on doing with the Dark Order. Like if they're just keeping them as just like an organization that they are now, I can see Hangman going to them only because it'll bring the star power Brody Lee brought.
Gotcha.
It'll bring that star power back, and it will make them, I hate using the word, it will make them quote unquote relevant again in a sense. So yeah, I think they do need that shot of adrenaline, and of course I would love to be like Hangman's that one person that can give that to them, but that's not, it's definitely somebody else that's going to be that shot of adrenaline. So do I personally see Hangman joining? Possibly, but not until that quote unquote shot of adrenaline actually gets injected into the Dark Order.
Oh, we forgot the Bucks little interaction.
So the Bucks had I guess it was an interview segment.
This is the first time I've ever seen the Bucks recycle a bit that they used on BTE.
Well, go ahead, throw it out there. Throw it out there.
Oh, sorry, but yeah. So I mean, in the BTE bit, there was the Bucks like walking down the hall, and then, or or maybe they show up on the green screen room. But point is, sorry, my memory's a little hazy since Monday, I guess. But point is, they come up to the Good Brothers and they're like, "The hell, guys! Like, why would you like pull a distraction in this battle royal when, like, if we would have won, you idiots, we would have like had it been the two of us versus the two of you in the dream match. Like, what the hell?" And it's almost like script for script. They're like, "Why are y'all mad at us? Like, our beef is with Private Party. We have a match against them this Saturday. But who you should really be mad at is the Inner Circle. I mean, Santana Ortiz knocked out Matt. Then Jericho and MJF Jericho and MJF, was it Matt first? Yeah, Jericho and MJF knocked out Matt, and then Nick got knocked out by Santana and Ortiz, right?
I believe so.
But anyways, they're making them recall that, and they're like, yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, we shouldn't really be mad at y'all. We should be mad at them, the guys that eliminated us and mocked us doing the whole Young Bucks pose.
Mm-hmm.
So they pretty much like turned the whole argument around on them, and then said, throw a brother too sweet while you're at it. And I love this about what they're doing with the too sweet in the backstage, because they're making it sound like they're like smoking. They're smizzing some whiz in the back. Like, hey, too sweet me real quick, bro. He's like, yeah, I would, but like Sting's over there. He's like, what are you ashamed to like too sweet? And he's like, no, it's just that, it's like our thing. It's like a little private thing that we do. And then Nick goes in and they're like, oh, I'll do it anyway. And he's like, just bumps him real quick. It's hilarious, the angle that they take with the too sweet and what they are doing with the Bullet Club. I hope it just keeps going.
Oh yeah, of course. We'll definitely talk about that shit later too. But the one thing I hated about this is that they could have interjected a match with Proud and Powerful in a much better and much more story-oriented way that could have helped benefit both the Inner Circle and the Bucks, for that matter. But yeah, they didn't do that. They just said, okay, you're going to give them a match. Well, then what was the point of the fucking battle royal and the storyline between that? Because if that's the case, then it's like, you could have gone a whole different way.
Go back a little further. What was the point of the Inner Circle tag team triple threat?
Just have two members of or four members of the Inner Circle end up in a battle royal anyway.
Yeah.
But then it's like, if Jericho and MJF supposed to be the tag team of the Inner Circle, why the fuck is Santana and Ortiz getting title shots when technically they're not supposed to be a tag team?
True.
Like, the continuity of that is a little weird, but
it is.
It's whatever.
And again, that's the stuff that we criticize. We like it. We like everything that's going on, but you can't just ignore that shit and be like, oh, it's okay. It's all story. We got it. No, it don't work out like that because there's plot holes in the shit. But
it's just not how it works, Uncle Dave.
But again, they don't pay us for this shit. So, hey. But so Pac and Ryan Hollywood Hunk Nemeth.
I like that for a name, to be honest.
I like it too. I just clearly there had to be some backstage stuff that has happened. I think Ziggs probably called up and was like, yo, my brother is trying to really get into wrestling, or he's really trying to get like just he needs some type of push. And this is what happened, because I don't see, unless he's been on Dark, and I haven't seen it. But
yeah,
I don't know what this push, because it's completely out of nowhere, because he's getting matches left and right with names. So
yeah,
what's happening?
I honestly wish I knew, because he's getting more attention right now than Scorpio Sky is, and that's bugging me. Like, I'm hoping that Sky is like doing something somewhere personally or something, because I have not seen him.
Yeah, because
maybe they have him sidelined so he can come back more in a singles way.
I'd be fine with that too. I mean, I'm never gonna hate on time away for the right reasons. But
Right.
in this instance, I would hate for people to be wasted. Like Abaddon being gone, that's a good thing. Scorpio Sky being gone is a bad thing because there's so much momentum and so many things you can do with Scorpio Sky outside of a fucking title picture. And again, gonna talk more about that whole aspect of things when we talk about the main event. But yeah, but either way, back to this match, which was nothing much. Glorified squash match.
I'm gonna give my quick hot take. I don't know if it's a hot take, but I think officially Pac or the bastard. I can't say it like Justin Roberts, but Pac
is a bastard.
Might be my favorite wrestler in AEW. I'm gonna just drop that right there.
True story.
Rightfully so.
He might be my number one favorite wrestler in AEW at the moment.
And the reason that I would have to agree is because he emits that Chris Benoit energy. Because when he's in the ring, it's like whether he's a face or heel, it doesn't matter. That he keeps that same energy.
Right.
It's like it's all about the objective. My objective is to win this match. That's what I'm going to do by any means necessary. It's going to happen. And he carries that. So it's just like, yeah, he's somebody who is definitely going to be a world champion. When, I don't know, but it's coming and it's going to be deserved for sure. So yeah, but obviously Pac went over. No surprise there.
I'm gonna get since I haven't updated y'all in a while, but Bianca was out there talking to Sasha, and Nia and Shayna came, and it led to a fight, and they tripped up Nia, and she quote unquote fell on her hole again, but she didn't say it. She didn't say it, but she did sort of similar spot. So I don't know if they're going to try to make Bianca and Sasha a temporary tag team to go against Nia and Shayna.
This is two things.
But yeah, to give y'all a quick update. Oh, also too, Seth Rollins made his return. He tried to do his address the locker room thing, and they all walked out on him mid speech, and he didn't know they left. And the only person left was Cesaro, and Cesaro walked out, and Seth Rollins jumped Cesaro.
So is he still doing the Messiah gimmick?
Yeah, he's still doing the Messiah gimmick. So we might get a Seth Rollins and Cesaro feud coming, but that's been the update on SmackDown so far. Street Profits beat Alpha Academy. Big E gave an open challenge to Shinsuke, but Cruz interfered. But yeah, back to AEW.
I do like how, like, the way that you said that and built it up, like the way that it sounds good. Sounds like it could be entertaining as far as on paper. Now the execution, yeah. But yeah, one thing that WWE does, and again, this is straight criticism again, y'all are like a kid who hears a joke for the first time and tells that joke over and over and over and over until it gets fucking old. This whole thing, something that just fucking happened. Just because it got traction doesn't mean you need to continuously bring it up or make it a thing. Basically, be like, oh, you know what? We got to strike while the iron's hot. No.
So
you do not.
I listened to Cornette's other podcast, The Drive Through, and one of the people asked the question, do you think they can make merch out of this?
Out of the whole thing?
Yeah.
Please
or do you think WWE is just going to nip it right then and there?
Try and make money off of this whole thing. That funny coincidences are funny coincidences.
Yeah.
Like you don't need let the internet run its course on that and be done with it.
Yeah, my thing is the fact that you need to be able to keep that same energy with everything that you do. If you sat there and thought, "Oh, it's a bad thing, let's take it off of let's censor it on YouTube," that means you never wanted it to begin with. So it's like, why would you then wait for it to get popularity and be like, "Oh, you know what? Let's capitalize off on this." That's not keeping the same energy. That's basically showing how two-faced you are as a company and with your talent.
Exactly.
You only want something when it gains traction. You don't believe that that's not you believing in something. You know, you only want it because it seems popular to somebody else. And it's something that you can actually gain something out of. That's, you know what, Andrew Yang, you're right. They are fucking greedy. Fucking greedy. But I digress. Now, as far as the Sasha and Bianca thing, they should be nowhere near those tag titles. Matter of fact, any women's champion should not be near any tag titles at this point because they've basically just watered down the achievement of a previous women's champion or a current women's champion in the tag titles. It just no. And the one thing I don't want them again to rehash something of the past because you had Shawn Michaels and John Cena win the Raw tag titles and then go into WrestleMania 23. And you had them as tag champions go into a match where they wrestled each other for the world champion and it's the world championship. Don't need that.
Yeah.
Only thing we need from that is a match as akin to what we got because that John Cena, Shawn Michaels 3, good fucking match because that was on Raw. That match was better than it was on WrestleMania. Match was a good fucking match. I digress. Not important. But anyway, on to some bullshit that really doesn't matter. This squash match between Pac and Ryan Nemeth. Pac won. Leave it at that. Then we had something that proved my point about the Acclaim. And that's the fact that the Acclaim is one hell of a team with a great look. And they don't need to be doing this rapper gimmick at all. Because to me,
he had a name for the Acclaim, but I don't remember what it was.
Of course he did.
Was it a
I
good
can't
name?
remember what he called him. Huh?
Was it good or bad?
I mean, of course, you know, in Cornette's world, it's going to be a negative. But I forgot what he called him.
Bless you.
Thank you.
So, and there's another thing to this too, and this is what I like about AEW with not only, I mean, shit, their tag teams and their heels and face. I mean, their basic non-heel and non-face dynamic. It's the fact that you can still have heels and faces go up against each other and still have that heel dynamic where they're both trying to do anything by any means necessary to get the win over. And that's exactly what happened here with the Acclaim versus MJF and Jericho. And it was just two teams trying to win rather than them just being the type to say, oh, you know what? It's a face. Let me go ahead and just scheme so I can get over because I know they're not going to do the same thing. No, it was like, okay, well, I'm going to try some dirty tricks. You're going to try some dirty tricks. We're going to wrestle. Simple as that. There was nothing to this match outside of them showing their talent because everything that was worth watching happened after the match. That's not to say the match was bad. Just to me, as I'm watching this, I still couldn't get the shit out of my mind that happened earlier with Sami and MJF because I'm like, oh, the other shoe's going to drop. What the fuck's going to happen? So I couldn't get my mind off of that. So when the match was going on, I was like, good match, but I kind of want to see how this is going to progress. And
it was at this spot here for me that I was just wondering, why the hell didn't Sammy just immediately show the footage of like the backstage? Like you had a cameraman stay back for your talk with MJF to begin with. So
yeah,
why not just throw that up on the screen and be like, you want to know what's going on, Chris? Here, look.
And that also goes to my point on why I believe that, again, this is still like him with MJF and Sammy working together. But Sammy comes out, Chris sounding like a fucking retail supervisor. It's like, oh, you're 30 minutes late. Like,
right.
Where you been? And of course, Sammy, being true to his word, looks at Chris and said, I told you, I think he said December 9th.
Yep.
If something else is pulled, I'm done. It's like, so I'm done. I'm out of the inner circle. And I was like, dope shit. If I didn't have the other shit in the back of my mind where it was like, yo, I know him and MJF are working together at some point. But if this was one of those things where it's like I was still on the whole idea of, yo, Sammy's going to be a face moving forward, I would have been like, yo, this is a dope moment for him. But he leaves, and that's that. Now, the one thing that kept me believing that this is whole MJF and Sammy like scheme is the fact that as he's leaving and Alex Marvez tried to stop him, he said, I just need to be away from this place, which means he's going to be gone for some time, and that's going to take his mind, take him out of everybody else's mind. And I believe what's going to happen is, I guess, when the other shoe drops for like the whole culmination of this new inner circle, when they finally turn on Jericho, I feel like Sammy's going to come back and then be like, quote unquote, saving grace, and then turn his back on Jericho and then actually show that he's been in cahoots with MJF the whole time.
Well, I don't know if y'all also heard the rumor, but apparently in March, they're supposed to move locations.
What, from Jacksonville?
Yeah, they were supposed to move from Daly's place, and I think they were supposed to do something in Tampa.
Okay.
Starting when?
So, what's up?
Starting when?
I think like sometime in March. I think it might have been either with Revolution or after Revolution. So maybe that might be Sammy's hiatus. We away from this place. He doesn't show back up till they switch locations. Maybe
that, and you know what, that would make sense to be like, yo, I just need to get away from this place, like Daly's place.
Quite literally, yeah.
Yeah, look, I'd be all fucking for it, but that's still to be continued. I like how this is unfolding. It's giving us a slow burn, and the nuggets that they're dropping keep me questioning what the fuck is going to happen. So, but I mean, we all ultimately know that Jericho is going to, be the one who gets the short end of the straw out of this whole deal. So, Now up to something else that I guess have a love-hate relationship for, and that's this damn Women's World Championship elimination tournament. I look, I want this to be like some dope shit, but the setup for it is just not what it needs to be, like, at all, because I think that this needs to be all.
Go ahead.
I just want it to be like all AEW talent, like, because it's just like I talked about before. It's like you keep throwing these names in here because AEW is still like in its quote unquote infancy, if you want to call it that. So there's still that's either learning about you're still getting familiar with the current roster. So with them bringing in all these unfamiliar names that aren't going to be around, it's like, why are you making the situation more complicated than it needs to be? But yeah, that's my thing on that. On why I hate that, because they could be doing this better.
It's too much of a slow burn for me for this women's championship thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because have they maybe had one or two matches on the Japan side already? And we've had our first women's match tonight.
Oh,
I mean, not tonight, Wednesday.
Well, did you see that come Monday, all of the Japan women matches are happening Monday on YouTube? I don't know if y'all saw that graphic, or maybe it might have been something. Not the whole thing, but the qualifier.
All the first round stuff.
All the first rounds are Monday. I think Monday at 6 on YouTube. So, yeah, that's happening.
What the heck?
That's crazy in itself too, because if they're just flying through their fucking matches like that, you're basically gonna have the American side of it going through and taking the time having these matches, and you're gonna have a fully fresh Japanese competitor who's already had their match like weeks in advance, ready to have their finals match. So
let's see here. I'm trying to pull up the like who's all slated for this.
And I think on the Japanese side, there's only maybe like 3 women who has actually been on AEW TV. I know that's Aja Kong, Rio, and I believe
Rio's on the American side.
Rio is on the American side. She faces Serena Deeb at some point.
Oh, that is.
But you have Emi Sakura, Aja Kong, and what is it? Yumi Zakazui,
Yuka Sakazaki.
Thank you, Yuka.
Emi Sakura, Maki Ito, and Aja Kong are each in their own slot. So they have it's 4 matches in the first round for each side.
Yeah.
And boy, Jim Cornette had a field day with Maki Ito.
She is the god of, what was it, piss or some shit?
Love and piss.
Yeah, she's the god of love and piss, and you know what? I'm here for it.
But wait, hold on. Jim Cornette also responded by saying, "Yeah, you're gonna be the god of shit if you stick to this company." And he said she personally sent him a photo of, I guess, a photo shoot where she covered herself in chocolate or something like that. And her response is, "I'm the god of shit too."
Well then, I mean, hey, yeah, if you ain't afraid to fire back, by all means.
Right. But yeah, so he was having a field day with old Maki Ito.
Well, I'm looking at her Twitter alone, and I'm like, this woman's amazing.
Now, yeah, like some of her tweets and stuff he was reading off and everything. So yeah,
she's advertising the women's cup to begin with, and she's like, "Let's go kick some asses," and then she puts like a cat emoji on there.
Now, with the I guess the beginning of the American side, we have Layla Hirsch and Thunder Rosa, which again, with these matches going on, I hate the predictability of these matches because you can already tell that Layla Hirsch was not going over Thunder Rosa at all.
No.
So now, legit Layla Hirsch is pretty legit, and I think she would have benefited from this tournament, especially if you're going to build somebody up. She would have definitely benefited from being in this tournament and actually being in a different fucking bracket, because y'all basically set her up for failure, because she reminds me of, I guess you could say, like if she gets her charisma up some more, or if they let her have that charisma, she could be like a female Kurt Angle, like
very much so,
real, because she from when I seen her in the beginning and how she is now, it's like she's kind of grown into her own. Like even now, she's more recognizable. She looks legit.
She looks like an Olympian. Like that's almost hitting the nail on the head, in my opinion. Just hitting that she could be like a Kurt Angle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, go ahead.
No, I'm saying that's just why, like, I feel like she would have benefited from being in this tournament a little bit longer so that she can showcase that.
I'm looking at the first round on the American side. So we had Layla Hirsch versus Thunder Rosa.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got Serena Deeb versus Riho. Then we have Ty Conti versus Nyla Rose. And then finally, Britt Baker versus Anna Jay.
And see, and that's
honestly, if you would have swapped Nyla Rose with Layla Hirsch, then you would have had a better looking bracket already.
Oh, I do like that matchup.
Yeah, if you would have had Ty Conti versus Layla Hirsch and then Nyla Rose versus Thunder Rosa, I'd have been like sitting. I'd have been like, all right, I honestly don't know who might win this.
Yeah. Yeah. God damn it.
Pay me, Bucks. Pay me.
See, and again, you hearing that, it's like you already know that all those matches are predictable. Anna Jay's gonna suffer. Ty Conti's gonna suffer. Which fucking sucks.
Job order.
I know, right? The only unpredictable match is Serena Deeb and Rio.
Yeah.
That's the only unpredictable one.
It was champion versus former champion.
Yeah, and Rio's been gone this whole fucking time. So you can have the argument saying, okay, well, you know what? She can't really lose because she's just now coming back. So you wouldn't serve her a loss on her re-debut, basically. So yeah. But again, this Layla Hirsch match with Thunder Rosa was a good match. I liked it, which proved my point as to why they really should have redone these brackets and put Layla Hirsch in a better position to where she can showcase herself even more. Even if she didn't go all the way in this tournament, at least make it to the semifinals,
right?
Just to get some type of like recognition even more. But
I'm gonna personally reiterate what I said before. They really did this tournament a disservice with the Japan side. Like
to not even showcase it, or what?
To not even showcase it.
I mean, not on TV at least. I mean, they're gonna showcase it, but
hey, like before, Jaeger, you're froze on my screen. But there you go. Reason why I say that because, excuse me, it's kind of like what Cornette has said, and y'all kind of hinted at either. There's only 3 women on that Japan side we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
The other 5, unless you follow that wrestling, you're not going to know the other 5.
True.
Yeah. So it would have probably been better if they got those 3 women maybe to come to America. I don't know if they could or not, but there's so many women that could have been featured. Hell, if they wanted to, Jade and Velvet Jade and Red Velvet could have been in that tournament.
That's true.
Yeah.
They had enough women to fill in 16 spots. Penelope Ford is nowhere to be found. Mm-hmm. Big Swole is not even in the tournament.
Big Swole's been gone completely.
Yeah, so they could have. I mean, hell, Ivelisse and Diamante could have been in the tournament. So they had enough women to not have to feature a Japan side.
You just listed 6 women right there. I mean, all we need is 2 more. Yeah.
Oh, they got them.
Yeah. So I don't get why. Hell, Abaddon.
No. You know what? Throw in Abaddon and Sheeta, and then you have a whole American women's tournament right there.
But so like I said, there was no need to technically have a Japan side because it devalues the tournament a little bit.
Well,
granted, I understand the champion is Japanese, but
But that's my problem because to me, there's no reason to have this tournament because you haven't given me any reason or indicator why this tournament is important because you haven't had your champion on TV. You haven't showed the importance of your women's championship. So how am I supposed to believe, okay, they really about to go balls to the wall with this tournament because this is the prize to have?
For my MMA fans, I don't know how many people. I don't know if y'all 2 gentlemen are MMA guys, but
come on,
back when Demetrius Johnson, shouts out to Mighty Mouse, back when he was in the UFC, he ran through that division twice before he finally lost the belt. So I can see if it was like that with Sheeta. I can see if Sheeta just ran through the roster to where it was like, fam, who y'all want me to fight next? I didn't beat them all. But this is just like, because the thing is that for such this grand of tournament, in my opinion, it will honestly have to guarantee the winner of this tournament must gonna win the title.
And I believe that's the case.
Yeah.
I believe that whoever wins this is going to win that title.
That being said, who do you see winning?
It's going to be somebody on the American side, and it's either going to be Riho or who else you said was on the American side again?
So we've got Britt Baker, Anna Jay, Ty Conti, Nyla Rose, Serena Deeb, Riho, and the winner from last week, Thunder Rosa.
So who would Thunder Rosa fight? The winner of?
She would fight the winner of Serena Deeb versus Riho.
It's definitely going to be Riho versus Serena Deeb. I mean, Riho versus Thunder Rosa. And I can see Britt Baker still fucking with Thunder Rosa, which makes Riho win, and Thunder Rosa possibly doing the same thing. So, because their feud isn't done, because even Thunder Rosa had said their feud wasn't done.
Well, that was the thing prior to Thunder Rosa's match that night was she cut a little promo saying she's got 3 priorities right now. Number one, the AEW championship. Number 2, reclaiming her NWA championship.
Which I thought
and number 3, I
thought that was a dope promo.
It was a great promo.
And then number 3, getting a piece of Britt Baker's ass.
Yeah, because she can get her big nose out of her business.
I thought that was
but either I have my choice of 3 women winning. Either Riho, Thunder Rosa, or maybe Britt Baker. One of those 3 are going to win.
I hope it's Thunder Rosa because she's taken L's a few too many times for me.
So one of those 3 women are going to win, in my opinion. The problem is, like I said, I hope it's a situation where whoever wins this title tournament becomes champion, because then it's just like, what was the fuck even it? Like, you just really just stretching Sheeta's title reign.
Yeah.
Just because I mean, it seems like from this point, the winner is not fighting Sheeta at Revolution.
Yeah, they're not.
So,
well, hold on. How many more? When is Revolution?
March 7th.
So where does that put us? March 7th?
Mm-hmm.
You mean, wait, that's a Sunday.
Okay, then 6 then.
Yeah, 6. So you got 3 more. You got 4 more. Yeah, you got 4 more weeks.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 3 more. 3 more shows. Yeah, you got 3 more shows up until that March 6th. So you're probably going to get
froze.
Oh, it did?
Hello.
We good now?
I'll be back here. Well, you're fine, but Dizzle
did freeze.
Okay. Because I'm frozen.
I don't see you frozen. You're moving around.
No, because the thing on this bottom has frozen too. But yeah, but as long as I can still hear the audio. But yeah, so
you're gonna have
we have 3 weeks.
If they want to do it right, I say they do 2 of these women's qualifier matches, and well, no, they can't even complete this thing in time for Revolution. There's no way. There's no way.
Mainly because of that Japan side.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, again, I personally don't think this needs to happen, because this whole there's no importance. This women's championship is not fucking important, because you're not even you're not even showing like the women's champion has not been on TV. You haven't shown me like what she even thinks about this fucking tournament. It's just like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm defending against whoever.
To Sheeta's defense, she is in Japan right now producing this shit.
And that's cool. But I just need like some vignette or promo of some sort that just shows like, yo, this is what these women are fighting for. You just basically announce, yo, tournament, number one
tournament. Sheeta's going to Japan. Japan's cool.
Like, and I get the agenda behind it. You know, they want to showcase more Japan stars, and that's cool. I'm all for that. But there's a better way the shit can be done.
Yo,
that's my thing. But either way, I could care less. Whoever wins, I just hope that they take that title and then they actually revitalize it. Whether it be because it either has to be a tweener or a fucking heel. Because I need somebody. Because it's to me, it's either got to be Thunder Rosa or Britt Baker.
Yeah.
So, Rio definitely doesn't need it right now. Unless like she's got like a whole complete attitude change and she's not as innocent as she looks.
Brightly, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, but we'll see.
We will.
Now we got the main event. There were some promos. Mox dropped a bomb ass promo, which I'm glad that out here.
I don't get it. I really just don't get it.
What?
I don't get how I love a person's promos, but I don't like the in-ring. I don't get it.
I mean,
I don't get it.
Because you want Mox to be a wrestler. And honestly, all his best shit comes when he's out of the ring.
And Cornette updated his name. It's not Stone Cold Cosplay. I think he actually calls him Stone Cold Moxley now.
Oh.
He's
he actually calls him Stone Cold Moxley.
He gives him a name. He actually uses his name. All right.
I'm down with it.
But yeah, I just don't get it. Like, I don't get why. But like I said, this is how I felt when he was Dean Ambrose, even with the Shield.
Yeah.
It was just something about the wrestling aspect that I did not like. I don't know what it is.
What? Again, yeah, he definitely killed the promo as always. And he is now for sure flaunting that New Japan, was it North American US the US?
Yeah, US.
Yeah, the New Japan US title, god damn it. Yeah, he's now flaunting around, which I'm glad because it's more so solidifying the fact that this is a legit thing. Like, this is a legit partnership. So and then of course Kenny had his little had his little interview promo deal.
All right, so before we continue, Cornette said something. Once again, I know we're talking about him a lot, but he said something, and I want to get y'all's opinions on it because he was mentioning about how when Kenta showed up last week, because that's what the episode was about, them reviewing last week's episode. So, in his opinion, he's saying this partnership doesn't matter unless you're just into it. Unless you're just really into New Japan and you're really into AEW. He was saying that this partnership is not going to bring in new fans, quote unquote. That nobody's going to turn the TV and see Tanahashi, Okada, or even Kenta and be like, ooh, let me stick around and see what this is. That whoever is already watching this is already watching it. They're not going to gain nobody new from this partnership. So ultimately, he's saying, I guess in a sense, saying it without saying it, why do it? Maybe, I don't know. But yeah. So thoughts on the fact that does this partnership matter?
I mean, I agree with what he's saying. I'm not going to say that he's wrong because it's the same thing. I mean, with me, I mean, if you tell me, there's a whole bunch of women's wrestlers here, WWE, NXT, AEW, and they're good, but then you have a whole nother promotion of Stardom out there, I'm not really gonna care much to go look at it because I like what I'm familiar with. I like what I recognize. I don't want to have to go through and learn a whole new deal. So he's right in that respect, where it's not people are not going to go out of their way to look at something unless it makes that impact or unless it gets that impression on people like, yo, okay, I'm intrigued. What the fuck is going on over there that I'm not seeing? Now, at the same time, I don't think that that's the objective. I don't think that their objective is to gain new fans right now. I think the primary objective right now is to give back to the fans who have been loyal, who basically they're building the backs on this company of all the fans who have been around since, Bullet Club, ROH, New Japan, All In, All Out, all that. Like it's basically like giving back to the fans.
Yo, if the next time they do it is All That, hopefully they get the rights from Nickelodeon. Boy, I would be there.
That'll be the day that they get New Day to debut.
Oh my god!
But
hold on, you can't just take those rights from Nickelodeon without including some slime at some point.
Oh yeah, that too.
That's when you got to get Gronk to come in.
Oh no! Let him go keep his Super Bowl rings that he's making right now. So.
What are you talking about? They already got their resident rapper that's gonna come back. It's gonna be Snoop. It's always gonna be Snoop. Snoop is always gonna be the one, and he's gonna make up for that splash. He did.
Dude, Snoop pulling a double contract with WWE and AEW.
Hey,
right?
I think Snoop's in the Hall of Fame in WWE now that I think about it.
He is. He got inducted a couple of years back.
Celebrity wing.
Yeah. Snoop is in the WWE Hall of Fame,
along with former President Donald Trump.
Anyway,
but this
Jaeger, your thoughts with the
on what
I said about Cornette saying about with the partnership and all of that?
Oh, that I was about to say about Trump being in the Hall of Fame. You don't want him, but about Cornette, he's kind of got a point. I think if anything, this will benefit New Japan more so than AEW.
Yeah.
I mean, New Japan's already got a long-standing partnership with ROH and what was it, CMLL, right?
Yeah.
This will just really broaden their audience and especially introduce New Japan Strong more, which has been going on since last August.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's only been going on since last August.
Dude, New Japan Strong is still young. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. So, hey, if this turns more heads on New Japan and vice versa, then awesome. But he's kind of got a point that if you're an AEW guy and you're here and you see Kenta show up, it's like you should probably already know who Kenta is.
Yeah. That's true.
But aside from that, I mean, we can only see how it goes.
Yeah. And I think with matches like this would give them more, because I think what's going to happen is that shit like this is going to end up bleeding over into the other companies in some way, shape, or form. So if you are interested in this, you're going to want to check it out. So they're gonna hook a few people here and there. They're not gonna hook those massive numbers that Jim Cornette is thinking that they're not gonna hit, which of course I agree. Yeah. But again, to me, that's not the objective. The objective is to give back to the fans who started this whole thing, and then to just like Jaeger said, to get the Americans familiar with New Japan, because I believe that they're still going to transition over to America with putting a show or something over here anyway. So that's the best way to segue into it, to where, okay, I'm familiar with this, Mox is going to be over there. You got a lot of other people that's been over there that's going to be over there too. So, yeah, absolutely. But with this match, I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it because it's one of Moxley's strong suits.
Can I ask y'all one question?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Is Lance Archer like Captain Save-A-Ho or something? Because how does Lance Archer always get caught up in situations? He got caught up with the whole Butcher Blade and the Death Triangle. He's now caught up in this.
Because
My God.
Mox and Archer have a bit of history in New Japan as well.
That I know. I saw their last match when Mox won the title from him. I saw that match.
So I think that's really why Archer's involved in this, is because he has such a tie-in between Mox and Kenta and the championship.
Okay.
However, it did feel random that Archer is. I mean, it had that not been the case, yeah, it would feel out of place.
It does seem random, yes, but what I think, and it kind of it was hinted at a little bit to me during this match, and that's the fact that I think that Archer is Kenny's next challenger for that title.
Okay.
Because what happened in the beginning of the like before the match started, when everybody was in the ring and when commentary was pointing out the fact that 3 of the 4 of these guys have all held the New Japan US title.
Yeah.
Archer looked at Kenny, and I believe he mouthed, "I want that," like referring to the title. So I think that with the feud between Mox and Kenta going on,
wait, Kenny held the U.S. title?
Yeah, he was the first.
Oh shit! You're right. Okay.
Man, come the 26th, if Kenta wins it, then all 4 of those guys were champs.
With Mox going against Kenta, being mixed up with that whole situation along with Bullet Club, and now with Archer integrating himself into the mix, it only makes sense that Archer would be the suitable contender to go up against Kenny, because Kenny doesn't have a contender at the moment. And I believe Archer is ranked, possibly. I believe. But even if he's not, it still makes sense for him because of the way that this match ended with the Good Brothers getting in the mix and assisting Kenny with the win. It's not something that's going to be just over like that. I think that it's going to be something that continues on, and I think that I believe come next week or the week after, we may start seeing that come to fruition where Archer comes in and then wants the challenge for the title, because one thing was made very clear. Kenny didn't get Archer up on his own. He did not. I believe that may be a talking point to where it's like, okay, well, you couldn't get me up, so I don't think you can beat me, because you can't beat me without the one wing angel. If you can't get me up, you can't beat me. So that would be a good way to present that, and then to have him contend for that. And then, of course, you're going to have Kenny actually get him up and then do the one winged angel, and then that's that. But I digress.
Or he introduces a new move or some shit.
Or that. Because we already know that that kick out to the one wing angel is designated to one person.
Yep.
So
it's the Hangman.
We'll see what happens with that.
Well, I guess since we're on it, how do y'all feel about Jay White's photo of that Bullet Club, which was Jay White, Ghetto, Gorillas of Destiny, and I forgot who the other guy was.
You talking about Ishimori?
No, it was another manager.
It was somebody else. Hold on.
Jono, right?
I think so.
The guy that follows Evil around.
Yeah. So it was only just 5 of them in the photo.
Interesting.
And he posted that picture saying, our era, Bullet Club, this and the other. And of course, our favorite Bullet Club member, Tama Tonga, he reposted it and said, "This is the only one that matters."
Yikes.
So where does that put Kenta, Chase Owens, El Phantasmo, Evil, and Bad Luck Fale, and the Tokyo Pimp? So what about those 7 guys? And technically Kenta, if I ain't say Kenta. But what about those 7?
I want to say that it's more of a context thing. I'm hoping that it's just a context thing. It's just, that's the picture that they use because it's the most recent thing. Because I think that one was from Strong.
See, like Fale is still stuck at home, right?
Yeah, he's making TikTok videos. No, it's like for real. Like he's making dope ass TikTok videos.
I mean, hopefully with Tokyo Latina, but I mean that's not here nor there. Oh yeah, you can't forget about the bunny, the original bunny, by the
Right.
way.
With that being said, is Bullet Club fine?
Bullet Club is trying to remember who Bullet Club is, I guess, right now. because I mean, over here, I mean, it looks like Bullet Club is fine in Japan, but obviously there's some shade being thrown there. Here in the US, it looks like Bullet Club is trying to be Bullet Club, but they're not getting the acknowledgement that they are Bullet Club.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, I'm intrigued, but I'm confused at the same time because I love New Japan Bullet Club. Love it. I love the dynamic that they have. I love what Jay White stands for as far as being a leader and introducing, like, I guess that ruthlessness, if you will. I just wish he was more ruthless at times.
Oh, I forgot about Ishimori.
Yeah, it's all. I didn't.
But yeah, man, it's I feel like whatever's going on, we don't even know. Like, even whatever we speculated, I still think we are all 100% wrong. And I think that they're going to put something over on us where we're just like, what the fuck?
Well, we'll only know if Tama Tonga and Kenny Omega hug it out. If it leads to they all come together and Tama and Kenny hug it out, whatever, then it's going to be like, wow, good fucking job, guys. Good fucking job.
I just want to see like a 12-man 2 sweet explosion. That's all I want to see.
The world will implode.
Right.
The world will implode.
And Rocky was kind of alluding to that. Like, well, he wasn't alluding to a union like that, but he was just like, well, who knows? I mean, you just had Kenta show up. I mean, who knows? Like, if things progress well with this whole COVID thing, you may see the GOD show up. You may see Jay White show up. Well, we can only speculate right now with world events being as they are.
Yeah, and once Kenta and Mox have their match, once Revolution is over, I think we're gonna start to see like the next chapter in this whole Bullet Club story. And I think it's gonna start to introduce like that bridge that we now have between New Japan and AEW, to where you're gonna start to see some type of back and forth, whether it be AEW to there or New Japan to AEW. So yeah. I'm hoping for something good, and for Tama to give the best RKO to somebody.
Oh man,
we'll see.
Not gonna lie, I kind of want to see Tama like hug Kenny and then give him that gun stun.
He does it so well, man. It's like he floats in the fucking air. It's like there's like a half a second pause when he's in the air before he drops. It's just like, again,
just makes it look so.
See it. But Any thoughts on this match before we get any closing thoughts in?
It was what I thought it was going to be, and I'm not mad at it.
True.
Oh, quick sidebar. I forgot to say. Once again, last time bringing up Mr. Cornette, he said, "Why put at the time? Why put the Shaq and Jade Cargill versus Red Velvet and Cody match on free TV when you should make people pay for that train wreck?"
I agree with that logic because I don't want to see that match, but if you're gonna use Shaq, you might as well get paid for it if you're gonna have to shell out money for Shaq. So yeah,
Might as well put him on TNT's time instead of AEW's time.
Right.
So
but yeah.
Jaeger, thoughts on the well, I mean, it was unsanctioned, but the main event.
It was a pretty good match, man. Like I honestly had no problems with it. I actually liked the addition, that little finale. Right. Hold on, there it is. Anyway, I did like the little finale with Kenny like having trouble getting Archer up for the one wing. So I did like the Good Brothers showing up to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to see more Bullet Club show up. Whether that be Chase Owens, whether that be Jay White, or anybody in between. I want it.
Well, I will say this. I think my theory still stands. Granted, it's going to happen later than expected, but I still think that we're going to get a Moxley versus Bullet Club, like straight up whole vendetta shit.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I think that's still definitely happening. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I guess the question that I do have, though, since that one is going to be answered in the immediate future, is who wins that match between him and Kenta?
Kenta.
I'd rather see Kenta win it, to be honest. And honestly,
that way that'll free Moxley up for when he has to go on paternal leave.
That's true.
That, not to mention, you can even throw in the Good Brothers or Kenny or even another Bullet Club member to come in and save Kenta, like when he's looking like he's about to get beat.
Yeah.
And plus, that'll help New Japan if things get real again. That way, the title will at least be in Japan.
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, I believe Kenta's going to win because that does feed into my theory, because I believe that he's going to have help from Bullet Club to help him win. And that's going to cause Mox to be like, well, fuck it. If y'all want to interject, then I'm taking on everybody. So there we go. And it only makes sense. I mean, he has the longest reign for the U.S. title, so he doesn't necessarily need it. So he's good. But
he's almost 400 days, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I think he was at 400. I thought.
Did he?
Shit. I think so.
But yeah, either way, out of everything that's gone on this week in wrestling news, shows, in between related, any closing thoughts on everything that's gone on this week?
A takeover has never disappointed me, and I don't expect this one to.
Damn straight.
Ooh. Hit him with it. Let's see. Good shit wrestling. like good shit this week, pro wrestling. Like everybody involved except for, Raw and SmackDown.
I was going to say minus Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
SmackDown was okay. Oh, Daniel and Cesaro won that match.
Called it, but that was obvious.
See, but if Seth jumps Cesaro, does he just take his spot?
No, I mean, Cesaro was in the match.
Excuse me. Do they have a match about his spot?
Oh,
because we have a week left. We have a week left.
I don't know.
That would be interesting if they did that, but I doubt it.
But I was gonna say I don't want them to do that to Cesaro, especially when he just got over beating Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Mr. Deasley, what's your closing statement?
NXT, keep on this upward trajectory because you're looking like the NXT of old, and I appreciate it, especially how you're utilizing these 2 hours. It was magic what you did with 1 hour. I need you to keep doing that with 2 hours and make every show feel the way you made it feel this week. Like, thank you. Keep it going.
Hundo P.
And keep Everrise off my goddamn TV like you have been. That's what's been the main part about.
Oh my god.
About NXT has been so good. They showed Everrise for a quick glimpse during the GYV vignette where they were beating down Everrise, and I was like, oh, I love it. So
this guy.
Thank you. Fuck Everrise. That's my closing statement. So Scoot, where can these people that want the smoke and all these other people find you?
Like it's been scrolling this whole podcast. You can find me at the Scooter Ray on IG. You can bringeth the smoketh to me. And depending on the smoke you bring, I might extinguish that shit, fam.
Damn.
But at the Scooter Ray, but it's really all about the Less Than Stealthy Ninjas. All one big word, as you see on the lovely screen. YouTube, IG, Instagram. Hell, we might even start TikTok soon just to put the clips on there too. But the Less Than Stealthy Ninjas. One big word. Let's go.
That is one big word.
One big word.
And of course, Mr. Jaeger Bombastic, you tell all these ladies, and most importantly, you tell Shotzi. Tell Shotzi where she can find you at.
Shotzi, we done this a few weeks in a row now. But for everybody else listening, if you want a game with me, Xbox, PlayStation, that'd be the name that you always see here, Jaeger Bombastic. You want to talk with me on social medias? You know, that's your Instagram, that's your Discords, that's your Twitches, that's all that. Him's winning.
Bam, bam.
Bam, bam.
and of course, just like Scoot said, as you see scrolling on the bottom, Lip Dizzle, IG, Twitter, Twitch, etc., etc. If, of course, you need that positivity shit in your life and you need that kick in the ass that you've been waiting for, Lifestyle One Up, Twitch. No, not Twitch. Wow. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can catch it, the podcast, on all your lovely platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, so on and so forth, until it gets implanted in your head and you just can't stop thinking about it. But, and definitely not on Black Planet, and definitely not on wherever else Scoot and Jaeger said that I was on.
Farmers only. Plenty of fish. MySpace.
And
oh man, when Don Cal said MySpace, that shit.
But like always,
wait. Before we tag out, Lip, Jaeger, too sweet, me bros.
Too sweet. So as always, whether you love it, hate it, don't forget to rate it. Comment all your opinions down below if you want the smoke and all that good shit. Don't forget to motherfucking subscribe. And as always, you beautiful, beautiful mother effers, tag out.